I suppose what we're trying to do is we're trying to use a bit less of that ethos of just flying things in. And we want to know a little bit more about who's growing the mint or who's growing the basil or who's growing the apples or whatever. It's about kind of building relationships with the suppliers around you. It's essentially about supporting the wider community around you. It's a bit weird walking in and turning around. My name's Andy Ferreira. Welcome. Welcome to Cask, first and foremost, I suppose. We opened Cask in 2017. The idea was to open a cocktail bar that I suppose kind of bridged the gap a little bit between how restaurants operated and how bars operated. Every time a new season kicks in, we throw away our menu and we start again. We only use ingredients that grow in Ireland on our cocktail menus. We take those ingredients and then we come up with drinks using as many Irish spirits and modifiers as we possibly can. So that could be, you know, a small little Irish producer, or it could be, say, our buddies in Jameson down the road, which is like 20 minutes from here. I guess working this way, we built relationships with some of the smaller producers as well. Supporting the wider community is really, really close to us here. It's something that we've been doing since day one. We're going to introduce you to a couple of Cork producers and suppliers who we've become very, very close with. We are going to collaborate and create a cocktail, which is going to be really exciting. We've also been very lucky that we have got the help of Mikkel in Chapter 1, who's the head chef there. Mikkel's agreed to sit down with us and we're going to have a little brainstorm. And we're going to see what style of drink we want to do, how we think it would work well with the Jameson Black Barrel. And it's really about us coming together as a team and collaborating to create a really unique cocktail. Hopefully it's a little bit different, and it just shows you guys what can be done if you all work together in tandem to create something quite special. So this is our first stop of the day. I'm really excited to show you guys this place. This is called Killahora. So we're about 10 minutes outside of Cork City here, right at the foot of Cork Harbour, slightly elevated up in this incredible old orchard. These guys have taken what you can do with a humble apple to a completely new level.
Welcome to Killahora Orchards on a lovely day. This is one of our orchards. In this one we've planted French varieties, West Country varieties. We've over 150 different types of apples, some from Kazakhstan, some from America, red flesh apples, and we also then have a lot of Perry pears, which are these little fellas here, baby pears. We have about 50 varieties of those, and they give us this wonderful palate that we can create lots of drinks. So we make various ciders, wild fermented ciders. We make a natural Perry, and we also make a pommeau, which we age in barrels, and we make probably our flagship product, which is a rare apple ice wine, which is a dessert wine made from bittersweet apples as well.
Amazing. So come here, just playing devil's advocate, right? Don't bite my head off, but there might be like a general sort of perception that, you know, apple trees are apple trees. You know, we all used cooking apples when we were a kid.
That's it.
Is there more to it than that?
Believe it or not, there is. And this is the thing, our entire orchard, there isn't a single eating apple in this. We have 1,200 trees.
Okay.
And it's in selecting these trees and how they interact with each other. That's how we have this terroir, that every year we have a different variety. Everything we make is vintage based, and we're proud of that. And this reflects the land, reflects what we do. Wow. Really what we focused on and what has been appreciated by the market is our flagship products, which would be our pommeau, our apple ice wine, and our Perry. The pommeau, what we do is we take the last pick of our bittersweet apples, and the season has the most richness and tannins, and we mix that with an aged apple spirit. We then put that in an Irish whiskey cask, and that gives it a uniquely Irish, an Irish flavour and profile.
What's so amazing is that you have these three products, and each brings such a unique kind of characteristic to a drink, but that they all come from here. It's wonderful, you know. I love that, and it's such a variety, you know.
And people often say, oh, what's in this? How'd you make it? It's just apples. Yeah. Everything in it is apples. And you know, okay, maybe there's a hint from barrel aging, which does kind of modify it, but it's just the fruit, and that's what we always like. And really the key.
Well, the fruit and your innovation with knowing what to do with it as well. You're probably being a little bit humble. You know?
Innovation has a lot to do with it. The choice of the fruit is fundamental, and the balance of both. And pommeau is a great example of that, because every year it is slightly different, slightly stronger, slightly weaker, and we take different elements and try and produce the best that the year had to offer.
I think for this cocktail, the pommeau is going to be the one we're going to go with. So I'm looking forward to you showing us a little bit more about how it's made.
We'll go down. We'll have a look at a few barrels maybe. So yeah, this is our cellar. This is part of it, and this is a key part of what we do and what we make. This goes back a couple of 100 years, and what this is ideal for is keeping temperature and humidity stable. We've 30 plus barrels of various products, pommeau, ice wine, cider, and even perry we age in cask. What we're going to do is have a little taste of some of our barrel. This is the pommeau. This is a 2020, so we're all different years. This is going back to 2019. This is like a Willy Wonka's factory of aged treats.
Yeah.
I'll give you a look at that now. So this is it's been aging for about 3 years in the barrel.
The richness is incredible.
Yeah, it starts to evaporate slightly, so you get a little concentration. You can see the viscosity in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just having that wild fermented element in everything that we do just allows this breadth of freshness to come into things.
Yeah, I think it'd be an amazing binder for this drink. I'll knock one together and drop it down to yourself and Claire later.
Excellent.
So that was the amazing Killahora Orchard overlooking the harbour. Next stop, right into the city centre to visit Cork Rooftop Farm. How are you doing?
Andy, welcome to Cork Rooftop Farm.
Good to see you, brother.
How are you keeping?
Good, thank you.
Good man.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Cork Rooftop Farm.
We've been up here now for just over 2 years. We started in March of 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. So like loads of people during that time who were restricted to where they could go, we turned to gardening, except I had no garden. I had a big rooftop. So myself and my friend Ty, we started growing some food on the rooftop here in raised beds. And yeah, it kind of
So that's how it
spiraled.
started.
Yeah, really, it started as an innocent homesteading project and then grew to become a fully fledged business. So we grow 4,500 plants here in a small 80 metre squared greenhouse. Because we're very restrained by the amount of space we have, we use our vertical space, so this is why the towers are really efficient. And I suppose then outside we've got things like microgreens, which I'll show you later. And we've got our raised beds all around, which were the first things we ever did. So again, when we were starting off, we kept it really simple, just growing in soil, and that's continued to this day.
And it's obviously the quality of the product as well as what this is about.
Yeah, I mean, we really pride ourselves in growing incredibly nutritionally dense, tasty food. You know, we're harvesting it the morning they're getting it, so it can't get much fresher than that.
The drink it's a Jameson Black Barrel cocktail.
Yes.
Okay. We've been to Killahora, but what I wanted to get from you was, and I've seen it before, you've got this incredible micro herb garden. Like, so you've got all these little plethoras of flavors.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you could show us inside and show us what you got.
Later, yeah, we walk this way and I'll show you. Yeah, so in here, Andy, we've got our microgreens tunnel. So it's basically where we grow all our different types of microgreens. We grow currently about 13 different varieties. In front of us here, we've got sunflower, some basil, some coriander, a little bit of radish, cress, pea. So the beauty of microgreens is we can grow them incredibly quickly in a really small space, and it's super abundant, and the flavor is really intense. So
concentrated.
So because we're growing purely from the energy of the seed, they're packed with nutrition, and the flavor is also quite heightened.
Listen, just to give you a little bit of a synopsis of what we're thinking for this drink. What I want to do is make a herbal liqueur out of some of the microgreens.
Nice.
Obviously, you've got a thing here, we've got real concentrated flavors.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is we take a little sample of each, we bring them up to Mikkel, up in chapter 1.
Perfect.
He's got a far more experienced palate than me. Maybe we could grab a couple of samples and then we can make something kind of cool.
Brilliant. Yeah, we'll pull those together. Nice.
Cool, man. I think it's going to be really exciting to kind of put them all together and see what we can do.
You'll have fun in Dublin experimenting, I think.
I hope so. I hope so.
I can't wait to taste the final result.
I'll bring it down, don't worry.
Can't wait.
So here we are, Dublin City. We are outside chapter 1, where we're going to meet the head chef, Mikkel. We're going to bring him some ingredients from Cork Rooftop Farm, and we're going to try and create a little bit of magic with them.
So we're in chapter 1, 2 Michelin-starred restaurant on Barna Square on north side of Dublin. Open for the last 29 years, going on the 30th year. A few changes here and there, but similar concept as we had before. Try to look after the people the best as we can and provide the best produce we can.
Right, so a little box of tricks here.
Lovely.
This is the only thing that's not from Cork Rooftop Farm. This is an ingredient that we worked a little bit in the past. It's hogweed. We have a little radish blend, let's call it. We have some red basil, which I think is lovely and floral.
A bit of aniseed.
We have some cress, we have a bit of dill for some anise.
Do you know what I think would be amazing? If you get the bottle of Jameson there. Okay, smell that, and then smell the whiskey. My thought would be that as a garnish, we'll crystallize them. We'll brush them with egg white, then we do a spiced sugar. So we could use a little bit this, a little bit coriander seed, and unrefined brown sugar. Dip them in egg white, and then we sprinkle them with that sugar and leave them crystallize. They go hard and they crystallize. It'd be a little crunchy texture with spiced sugar and that basil with the whiskey-based cocktail. What do you think?
That sounds amazing.
And then a little herbal base of.
What would you think here? I mean, are you a fan of cress?
I think this is better for spice than this. I think you'll get confused with the dill. Why don't we just use these peppery cresses?
Okay.
And then the aromatic basil leaf with the spiced sugar. And
so you think just use these two of these as our base?
Exactly, for the herb base.
Yeah.
And then Jameson, obviously, as a drink base.
Yeah.
You know the way people drink Jameson and ginger ale?
Yeah.
I think a little bit ginger syrup rather than ginger ale. Ginger syrup, the spice-based liquor. Do 1-1 syrup, do standard sugar syrup.
Yeah.
And we pour pickled ginger juice from the jar into it rather than direct ginger. Little pickled ginger.
So you're getting a little bit of acidity.
Nice. Yeah, and the whiskey as a base. Doesn't need much else. I don't.
You see, I couldn't agree more with you.
And one crystallized leaf on top of it.
Yeah.
And a perfect cube of ice.
Yeah. I think sometimes we're prone to kind of overcomplicate things, you know, and it might need it.
I think these will get lost. They're beautiful herbs.
Yeah.
And we lose the producer by just milling so much stuff into it. I think you just leave it at that. So the herb liquor base, nice ginger syrup.
Yeah.
A little play on whiskey and ginger ale.
Yeah, exactly.
Whiskey and then the spiced sugar and aromatics from that.
Yeah, wonderful.
It doesn't need much else.
Yeah, so you're getting the aroma, you're going to get the base.
Yeah, and fragrance from the leaf.
And the fragrance from the leaf as well. Unbelievable. I'll bottle one and send it up to Dublin to you, up the road.
Super.
I'll put it on the train like they used to in the old days.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll be there first.
Stick it on in Mallow and up against the Dublin. Welcome back to Cask. So we've obviously been on a little whirlwind tour of Cork, flew up to Dublin, flew back down, and I do believe we actually have a really nice drink for you guys. So this is a simple, straight up drink, shaken. The first element of the drink is one that Mikel suggested, kind of playing a little bit on that kind of whiskey ginger vibe. So this is basically pickled ginger cordial. So I've taken 2 different types of pickled ginger, some fresh ginger, muddled it with some water and some sugar, and we're gonna add 7.5 mils to our shaker. Okay, so the next ingredient is our Cork Rooftop Farm herbal liqueur. Obviously I went to Mikel with quite a few different ingredients, and the ones that really stood out for both of us in fact, definitely the cress was really exciting, but also the China Rose Radish was the other one. So we kind of, instead of making it too complicated, those are the 2 that we focused on. So what I've done is I've used a technique called blender muddling, where essentially you flash blend with some vodka, some water, add a little bit of sugar later, and it just kind of, it shocks the herb into not releasing any of those kind of bitter elements which herbs can do sometimes. So we're gonna add 10 mils of that to our cocktail shaker. And straight away the aroma is just pow. Our next ingredient is our wonderful Killahora Pommo. So we're gonna add 20 mils of this. This will act as a sort of real binding agent between all the different elements, between the whiskey and the herb and the ginger. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little bit of acidity. So we're gonna use some grapefruit juice. So 15 mils of grapefruit juice. And again, this is just a little bit of acidity for the drink, just to bring all those elements together. We're gonna add a couple of dashes of salt. Everything tastes better with salt. And finally, we're gonna add our black barrel. So we're gonna go with 40 mils for this drink. I think why black barrel works so lovely with this is because we have the hogweed seeds and we have the coriander seeds in our garnish. So those little bits of spice, they really play nicely with the vanilla as well in the whiskey. And it just adds a lovely kind of element to it. Let's give it a shake. So there's so much going on there between the herbs and the spice and the apple and the ginger. It's really quite interesting. So it's also a great color as well. And we are going to garnish it with one of our purple basil leaves, which again, under Mikel's suggestion, we coated with a little bit of egg white And then in a Thermomix, we added some hogweed seeds, our little coriander seeds, a little bit of fine sugar, blitzed it, and then I've just gently kind of coated the leaf on top. So a really interesting garnish, which I wouldn't have thought of myself. Just kind of shows a little bit how chefs think slightly different to us as bartenders. We're probably so focused about the drink, where straight away Mikhail was trying to find different elements, you know, outside of the drink to bring it all together in a kind of visual way as well. Look, this idea is obviously around supporting the wider community. It's about tapping into the knowledge that surrounds us with our veg suppliers, with our, you know, our local producers, the guys that you get your herbs from. We're surrounded by all these amazing people in this country who have incredible knowledge, and it's about tapping into them and supporting each other and creating a network of ideas and of just looking after each other basically. So, sláinte, and we'll hopefully see you soon.